Yo, what up, everyone? That's right. Time to put in that work. Early morning for me, waking up, checking my news, seeing all the videos dropping about Canelo this and Canelo that. So I figured, man, let me go ahead and get my morning coffee and give you guys my thoughts about the future of Canelo Alvarez and what I think is going to happen. My thoughts overall about the fight with him and Triple G. Most of you guys know I went live during the fight. I commentated on the fight. I scored the fight. I gave you guys some post-fight thoughts, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper tonight for those of you in the States and just, kind of finalize this whole Canelo shit, to be honest with you. I mean, because at this point, man, I really don't have much to say other than what I'm going to say tonight, and I'm going to leave it, and in the meantime, if anybody wants to come in and challenge my points or say that I'm crazy or do all that crazy shit that they do out there, then you're more than welcome. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link into the chat, because I don't want to be accused of not being objective or being biased and all that crazy shit. So I have no problem having a discussion with anybody, man. And this is no hate. This is no beef towards Canelo. I'm looking at this, as I always do, as an ardent boxing fan and giving you guys my honest opinion. So salute to everyone dropping in here early. I appreciate you. We got Platboy Plays in the building. Shout out to my man Platboy. Nitty G in the building. Omega Red, both official members of the channel. Always got to shout out the official members of the channel. I appreciate you. We got Arturo in the building. What's up, Arturo? I know you see Canelo in the title, bro. You're gonna pop in, bro. I appreciate you. It says Stevenson missed weight. Is the fight still on? I've been disconnected for a few days. Myself as well, bro. Myself as well. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I haven't got that deep into all the news. Most of my feed has been flooded with Canelo, so I got to get that out of the way before I get into any other topics. We got PGA's Big Dog also dropping in, man. I appreciate every single one of you guys coming in here early. I know that there are several channels out there going live right now and chopping it up. And I saw a few channels out there talking about Bud and Spence. I honestly can't do it no more, bro. I can't do it. I can't find the energy to talk about that fight any damn more, bro. It's like I open my YouTube or my Instagram or my Twitter, and it's like, oh, the fight's gonna happen, and then a week later, oh, I guess it's not gonna happen, and it's just been going on, bro, for 3 or 4 months, and I don't like my emotions being played with, man. And I feel like as much as I love boxing, and I'm in love with the sport, and it doesn't matter how much I love something. It's like I love a woman, but if she's out there bullshitting me around, I cut the bitch off, bro. That's what it is. I don't got no time for that shit. And these two men are playing with my emotions, man. And I don't let nobody play with my emotions like that. I mean, it's too much. It's too much. And the thing about it is, a lot of people compare it to Pacquiao Mayweather. I was around back then in the trenches talking about that fight, which, if you guys remember, that fight didn't happen for about 5 years, right? But the biggest difference is, number one, you got two guys essentially still in their prime. Number two, you got an opportunity for undisputed. Number three, Pacquiao and Mayweather, there were some shit, it's like the fight was always close to be made. Everybody knew it was close, but there was like one thing. Everybody knew what that one thing was. For the longest time, it was Manny Pacquiao didn't want to take a random blood and urine test. And so everybody was just kind of like at a standstill. But with Bud and Spence, well, we don't know. We don't know why the fight's not happening. Like, we literally don't know. Is it Bud? Is it Spence? And everyone's going at each other's throats. No, man, it's Bud, bro. I'm telling you, bro, it's Bud. Okay. And then Bud fans come out. Man, Spence is he a bitch. He don't want the fight. It's just, man, I'm done with it, bro. I'm done with it. So let's talk about something that we do know. Let's talk about something that did happen. There was a fight this past weekend. We got Teach in the building. 88 Sports Talk in the building. Was good. So there was a fight this past weekend with Canelo and Triple G, the third fight. So let's talk about something that is real. Isaiah Felix in the building. What's good? Before I get into some thoughts about the third fight between Canelo and Triple G, I'm going to pull up a video and remind you guys, if you missed it, I went live to give my reaction to the weigh-in. And in that reaction video, I gave my prediction as well. So I'm going to play it so y'all can remember what I said. And see, these are the things that you have to pay attention to. There's a reason why y'all subscribe to Divine Sense Boxing, man. I may not say things that you like or that you agree with, but at the end of the day, I keep it authentic. And my predictions be staying on point. So if you are a person who bets on the sport, or you want to predict and have a solid record with your predictions, it blows my mind why more people don't pay attention to Divine Sense Boxing when it comes to predictions. And I'm probably, in the next week or so, going to construct a video of all the predictions that I got correct, and how accurately, not only did I predict it accurately as in the winner, but the details that I gave you guys on how that person's going to win is predominantly as accurate as you can get. But not only that, I'm going to say a few key points, or I'm going to play in the video where I said some key points that will lead me into the topic of tonight's live. And we're going to segue right into it. So as people start to filter into the building, I'm going to play this video as a reminder. And then I'm going to get into what I want to talk about tonight. We got TS Box in the building. What's good, man? Make sure y'all come in. You guys know the drill, man. And hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell so you're reminded anytime I go live. And also hit that like button. Get the likes all the way up. Let the people know we're in here chopping it up. SM in the building. I appreciate you. Thanks for dropping by. So let's take a listen to what I said during the weigh-in. I gave my prediction and I gave my reaction to the weigh-in. Okay. In my opinion, I feel like this fight is literally a fight that's been orchestrated to where they can sell it. It's a plug-and-play fight. That's what it is. It's a plug-and-play fight. They don't really have to market it and build it and promote it. People know what it is. That's how it always is. And rematches and trilogies and things like that. And it's the quickest way and the safest way to put him back in the W column. right? And that's no disrespect to Triple G, but let's keep it 100 here. Let's keep it a buck, right? There's a few key things that you have to look at. Now, your heart might be going for Triple G. I see my man Young Gun saying, I'm going for Triple G. There's a part of me that's going for Triple G too, because I feel like there should be there should be some type of feeling behind the idea that if you try to play around, if you try to play Russian roulette with boxing, it's going to catch up with you. And I feel like Canelo has been playing Russian roulette a little bit. You know, him going up and fighting Bivol, him getting humbled a little bit, you know, and him coming back down and grabbing a guy like Triple G. And you know, let's be honest, he's grabbing a guy that is 40 years old, has been in wars, has been in big fights. He's moving up in weight. There's a lot of things that you can pinpoint to the fact that, you know, Canelo wanted to put himself in a safe position. That's just how I feel about it. But yeah, there is a part of me that's like that Russian roulette factor, is that maybe you're just thinking that Triple G is old and washed up, and then Triple G is going to come in there and shock you. That is possible. I would love to see that, because I love to see scenarios where it's like you thought you had an easy one and you got humbled. Unfortunately, I just don't see that happening. Okay. Canelo can't afford another loss. He just, I mean, he can. His career's not over if he loses to Triple G, but it takes a big hit. It takes a very big hit. So to me, it's like Canelo loses to Bivol, right? And he loses convincingly, in my opinion. I don't remember what I had my scorecards. It was something along the line. I think I gave Canelo maybe 2 or 3 rounds. To me, it was very convincing. Fuck what the other judges had it. That, like, what was it? Like 2 judges gave the first 4 rounds to Canelo or some bullshit like that. I don't remember, man. That's another topic. But for me, commentating on the fight live, a lot of you were a part of that live. I scored it for Bivol clearly. So he gets outboxed, he gets humbled by a peer box, not a peer boxer, but a very well-rounded boxer in Bivol. But he's not the biggest. He's not the biggest guy at 175. He's not the biggest puncher at 175. Bitter Beav is. Takes an L. Probably had a hard time digesting that. You got all these belts. You're the undisputed champ at 168. What's your next move? Right? Well, you could rematch Bivol, but I think you were humbled to the point where I ain't trying to deal with no Bivol anymore. And for those of you just joining, I'm playing my prediction video leading up to Canelo Triple G III. So I got all these belts at 168. I got to take care of it. I got to defend these belts. Who do I defend it against? Right? We all know who's in the division at 168. There's talent there. There's no big names like Triple G per se. Like, everybody knows Triple G in comparison to maybe like a Charlo or an Andre or whoever else out there at 168. But he's not a 168 pounder. Triple G is not a 168 pounder. He's a middleweight, 160. Right? So when you go back to 168 and you're the undisputed champ, I don't want to fuck with 175 no more because I got my ass handed to me. So I got to handle business here at 168. My personal opinion is I don't care who you fight in your little comeback fight. I hate to call it that, but that's basically what it is. You take an L, you coming back to try to win it, to get back into the win column. So it's basically a comeback fight. Not come back out of retirement, but coming back from a loss. I don't care who you fight, as long as it's either another champion or, not another champion at 168 because he's undisputed, but another former champ or a title contender or some mandatory or somebody that is young and hungry that's coming for the belts. I don't care who it is. I don't care what name you give me. I honestly don't care. To me, that makes sense because it's 168. You got mandatories out there. You got guys coming in that want the shot. And then you decide to go plug and play it safe, grab Triple G, who has always fought at 160 his entire career, who is now 40 years old, who, by the way, didn't look phenomenal in his last fight. He looked okay. But he's the favorite going into that fight. He's supposed to perform well. And he looked decent. I would give him a 7 out of 10.
And a lot of people forgot about that.
He wasn't a 10 out of 10.
A lot of people
wasn't a
forgot
9 out of
that.
10. He showed in spots his age. You can't beat the clock, ladies and gentlemen, especially in boxing. It's a very brutal and vicious and physical sport. A 40-year-old man can look fantastic for 4 or 5 rounds, right? But it's that wear and tear. And see, the problem is, so for me, when I place a prediction for this fight, I got to think to myself, all right, what are the odds? Because in my opinion, the only way Triple G beats Canelo is he knocks him out.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, pay close attention. If this fight goes 12 rounds, I hate to say it, but it's pretty much Canelo by default. Like, Triple G would have to put on a Bivol type performance and completely outbox Canelo and embarrass him. That would leave no room for the judges to try to pull some shady shit. But Triple G, number one, is not the same type of style as Bivol is. Triple G likes to fight close in the pocket. He likes to exchange. He's got a good jab, but he doesn't think about defense first. Okay? He's not 32 years old anymore where he can slip punches, block, and pivot and move around as well as he used to. Now, at 40, just like George Foreman at 40 or any other fighter at 40, Bernard Hopkins at 40 plus, they don't move as well. James Toney, when he got older, all these guys, Roy Jones, when they get older, they can't move. So they get forced in the pocket and try to use their ring IQ, or not the ring, well, they have ring IQ, but their ring experience, their fight experience, to try and catch the younger, less experienced fighter with something they don't see. That's what happens. So when you look at this fight and you're like, all right, how do I make a prediction? Well, if you want to vote, if you want to say Triple G wins, it's not going to the cards. Like you would be a fool to say Triple G wins this by decision. I'm being completely honest with you. Now, if you say, well, I think Triple G catches him. Okay, it's boxing. It can happen. But if he is to catch Canelo, it has to happen in the first 6 rounds. If it goes past 7, at 40 years old, he's just not going to be able to pull it off. I just don't see it.
And that's what happened.
I just don't see it. And so you're basically saying, I think Triple G wins by knockout or TKO or some type of stoppage. I'll say before 7. I'll give Triple G, the 160-pound champion, a guy that I have a respect for, okay? I'll give him that respect, and I give him 7 rounds to knock out Canelo. If it doesn't happen, or if he doesn't extremely hurt Canelo, backs Canelo up, and wins rounds convincingly, this fight's a wrap. It's a wrap. Now, I have no idea what kind of mindset Triple G is going to walk in with for this trilogy. I mean, it's like, so not to spend too much time on this video, man. If y'all missed my pre-fight thoughts on that fight, y'all can go back and watch it. But y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. I essentially said that, the fight's going to be a decision. Canelo's going to just be younger, faster, more powerful, and he's going to win by decision. Triple G doesn't have a chance unless he knocks him out. And that's exactly what happened. For those who are curious, I have my scorecard still here. I still have it over here on my table from when I scored the fight. I scored it 8 rounds to 4 for Canelo. I felt like that was generous. Could have very easily been, 9 rounds to 3. And it is what it is, So look, this will now segue. I just wanted to reiterate, number one, I know what the fuck I'm talking about when I predict these fights. And number two, to remind people on, in my opinion, the blasphemy that was surrounding this idea that Canelo and Triple G III was a good idea. There was no fucking need for it. Period. And the link is pinned up at the top of the chat if you want to come in and disagree with me. I'm waiting to hear why you think the third fight between Triple G and Canelo was a good idea, or that was the best option. The only reason why it was the quote-unquote best option was to put Canelo back in the W column. There's no other fucking reason. Oh, and to dupe the public and to make money. And that's another thing I want to talk about real quickly, now that it's in my mind. When the numbers first came out, it was like 500K or something like that. And I think that was the report only for DAZN. I think when people started reporting the numbers, it was only DAZN's revenue. They didn't take into account all the other revenue streams surrounding the fight. Now they're reporting that it made over $1 million. Okay. So now people are saying, oh yeah, man, sold, got 1 million pay-per-views. Like, that's the type of star power that Canelo has, and that's how much people were interested in the fight, this, that, and the third. Guess what? I didn't buy that fucking fight. I didn't buy that fight. Ain't no way, no how. I'm paying for that shit. And in my opinion, anybody who spent $85 on that fight, I guess it is what it is. You don't mind wiping money with your ass. I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck. The link is pinned up at the top of the chat if you don't agree with me. Y'all spent $85 to see Triple G, who's 40 years old, who looked like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 against Murata, who's clearly not the same fighter anymore. Canelo pulls him up to 168. But DAZN got you all hypnotized. Canelo, his team, his promotional company, this idea of doesn't matter who Canelo fights, I'm going to pay $85 for that shit. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy to me. And this is no disrespect to Canelo. It's really not. It's really, really not. And a lot of people may take it that way. Oh, we got another hater in here on Canelo. Oh, he's hating on Canelo. The man won the fight. I predicted Canelo to win the fight. Exactly how I predicted it is what happened. And if I hated on Canelo so much, I will pick out reasons and find reasons on why, I would make up a whole prediction on why I think Triple G will pull the upset. But I'm too smart for that. And that proves that when it comes to predictions, I am not biased. And when people say, "Oh well, but Divine, man, you predicted Wilder to beat Fury in the third fight." Yes, I did. I predict Wilder to knock out Fury in the third fight. Well, guess what happened? Wilder was like 2 seconds away from knocking out Fury. Okay? So I believed that Wilder was going to knock him out, and he damn near did. But that's like one prediction that I didn't get right out of, I think I'm like 13 or 14 and 2. I'm like 13 or 14 and 2 when it comes to predicting videos since my comeback earlier last year. So, 100%. Am I going to pay for Wilder Helenius? Absolutely. Did I pay for Wilder and Fury 3? Absolutely. Did I pay for Canelo and Plant? Absolutely. Right? And numerous of other fights. I have no problem supporting the sport. It would make me a hypocrite to speak so highly of the sport, but never put a dime towards supporting the fighters. Devin Haney and Kambosos. I paid for it. Undisputed. You got to pay for that. Right? So my thing is like, people need to keep it a buck, man. Even if you're a Canelo fan, you got to come out here and be like, yeah, you know what, man? It wasn't the best fight on the table. And I can't believe as a Canelo fan that they made me pay $85 for that shit. It literally blows my, like $85, bro. $85 to watch a washed up Triple G. As if it was anything close to what the first fight was. It was like it wasn't even remotely close to what the first fight was. And when you look at Fury Wilder trilogy, every fight was different. Every fight kept you on the edge of your seat. It was like going into the third fight, nobody really knew who was actually going to win. Right? Nobody like the first fight, a draw, Fury climbs off the canvas, nearly got knocked out. Second fight, Fury dominates it. Third fight coming in, Wilder putting all this muscle and he's looking to knock out Fury. Nobody really knew who the fuck was going to win. And then we saw, 4 knockdowns in the fight or 5 knockdowns or whatever it was. Like, it was a crazy ending to a trilogy. But this trilogy, it was like, first fight was crazy. Second fight, you can already see Canelo starting to be a better fighter. Third fight, years after the second fight, where Triple G is clearly not looking like the same fighter. And it showed. What's up, Yoda? Thanks for dropping by. Andrew Charles, I see you. Ivan Alvarez, what's good? William, I see you. Rojai, I see you, bro. Thanks for dropping in tonight. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Christian NWO, what's good, man? So, Mr. Doll, no rights. Oh, yeah, $85, bro. That's how much it was. That's how much it was, bro, to watch that fight. So, now that I got that out of the way, let me move on to my next point. Before I do that, let me sip my coffee. That third fight should have been on free TV, bro. They straight up robbed the public. Straight up robbed it. So the fight is done. It is what it is. Canelo came out victorious. Congratulations. You wrapped up the trilogy. Yeah, maybe you were fighting demons when it came to that trilogy. I don't know. I don't know how Canelo sleeps at night. Maybe him not being able to knock out Triple G was like haunting him. And he still couldn't knock him out. He still couldn't knock out a 40-year-old Triple G. That shit's crazy. That's just crazy. But I told everybody, that Triple G is a tough son of a bitch. And there ain't no way he's getting knocked out. Everyone's like, oh, man, Canelo's going to. When I did my poll, Mangus Allen was in here. He remembers when I did my poll on who people think is going to win the fight. The majority of the people had Canelo winning by knockout. And I said, nah, Canelo will win by decision. So anyway, the fight is done. Whatever. I'm glad y'all got paid. And now Canelo's talking about he's going to take some time off. Supposedly, he got, I believe it was like a wrist injury. he reported that he's had wrist problems since the Caleb Plant fight. And that affected him in the Bivol fight. And that affected him in the Triple G fight. And he, because his wrist was hurting, he couldn't load up as much as he wanted to. And that's why he couldn't knock out Triple G. I don't give a shit if your right hand was made out of titanium. You're not knocking out Triple G. And you're sure as fuck ain't going to knock out Bivol. So leave that bullshit at the front door. I'm not saying the man didn't tweak his wrist, but there's an old saying in sports. Are you injured or are you hurt? Because if you're injured and you can't throw your right hand the way you need to, then why the fuck are you signing a fight, bro? And don't give me this bullshit. Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the people because Triple G. He want payday. He want payday. Fuck out of here with that shit. You might be hurt, but you're not injured. So now he's taking a break because he said he's been hurt. He wants to recover. And he said, I fought whatever it was 3 times in a year or 4 times, whatever it was. Like, I understand that. Like, I'm not discrediting him as far as his activity. I might say that within those 3 or 4 fights that he's had back to back, they weren't the best fights available. I will say that. But I will say you have been active. You feel like you deserve a break. I don't have an issue with that. Okay. But let's look at the landscape. Let's look at the landscape of boxing. So now, in my opinion, the walls are closing in on Canelo now. He ain't got too many places to go. The Triple G trilogy is finally done. He's holding all these belts at 168. He's only defended all those belts once against Triple G, who's not even a 168 pounder. But everybody's like, oh, see, he's not only undisputed, but he defended his titles too. Yeah, against the middleweight. Canelo is no longer a middleweight. He is a super middleweight. So let's get it right. Defending the title at 168 means that you fight a real 168 pounder, a real super middleweight. You have yet to do that. So let's look at the landscape. Everyone right now are saying 3 names that I've seen on YouTube. Benadvidez, rematch against Bivol, or Charlo. Those are the 3 fighters that are being presented right now. There are other fighters out there, I guess. I mean, he ain't gonna fight Beterbiev. We know that for a fact. That's never gonna happen. He's never gonna take that risk. Guaranteed. I will do a backflip right here live on camera if he were to fight Beterbiev. But there ain't no way. That shit's happening, right? Bivol, maybe. Bivol's got a fight coming up, I believe. But I personally think that he's staying away from Bivol too. That's my personal opinion. So you got Benadvidez and you got Charlo. If you want to throw in Andre, you could, I guess, technically. But we've already seen Canelo completely disrespect Andre in front of everybody. And I don't think he has any interest in fighting Andre. That's my opinion as well. Charlo's a maybe. But here's the irony of all of this, right? Check this out. Here's the irony. And listen closely. This guy, Canelo, he comes out and he says, I don't want to fight my countrymen. I don't want to fight a fellow Mexican or a Mexican-American, which basically means y'all can miss me with that shit in regards to Benadvidez. I got no interest to fight Benadvidez. But then he turns around and says, oh, well, Charlo and Andre, they got to fight each other first before they come and face me. Well, which one is it, bro? Which one is it? Like, the hypocrisy from Canelo is absolutely astounding. The man says, I don't want to fight any of my fellow countrymen, but all these other dudes, they got to fight each other before they come and face me. He literally contradicts himself all the time, and nobody calls him out for it. Well, not nobody, because obviously I'm doing it and a few others, but the vast majority of the boxing world doesn't call him out for that bullshit because he's the Estrella, right? He's the fucking star of boxing. He's, the motherfucker walks on water practically. Oh, you lost to Bivol because you hurt your wrist. That's why. That's why you lost the fight. Your wrist, man. Thank you for letting us know. Because we know that you're the Jesus of Nazareth, bro. We know this. We know. It wasn't because of skill. So that's literally like what he has said and what he has done. Like I can't make this shit up. He's literally come out and said, I don't want to fight my own countryman, a.k.a. Benadvidez. Then he turns around and tells American fighters to fight each other before they come and face him. So how can I put my faith in Canelo? How can I put my faith in Canelo that he truly cares about legacy? He preaches legacy all the time. I mean, every time he has the opportunity, he says, I want to collect belts. I want to be undisputed. I want to make history for Mexico, blah, 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 blah. Like, he literally says, I want to make history for Mexico. Well, wouldn't that be fighting a rising star, an undefeated rising star who is a Mexican-American that has a pretty solid fan base that, in my opinion, is a problem? He is a problem. And Benadvidez, wouldn't that be a part of this legendary status that you're trying to create and develop? Would be fighting a fellow Mexican or / Mexican American fighter? I mean, at the end of the day, Benadvidez, he's a Mexican American, but when he walks into the ring, he is hoisting the Mexican and American flag. The guy that you have looked up to your whole childhood, Julio Cesar Chavez, fought like his resume is 80% Mexican or Mexican American. A lot of Mexican cab drivers too, to be exact. But you out here fighting Europeans. Canelo was out here fighting Europeans, bro. Like, let's keep it real. When was the last time he fought, and like, other than Caleb Plant and Danny Jacobs? He hasn't really fought a talented American fighter, and even better, a Mexican fighter or a Mexican-American fighter. How is that shit not blowing your minds? How? And his last 10 fights, the majority have been Europeans or non-American, non-talented American fighters. And Danny Jacobs, with all due respect, I love the man. I love his story. I love where he's come from and what he's accomplished and what he's overcome. But he's not the most talented American fighter that was active at the time and that is currently active. But I give Canelo credit for Danny Jacobs. I do. I'm just saying that he's not the most athletically gifted or technically sound American boxer. He's not. And Caleb Plant, to me, looked pretty fucking good for 6 or 7 rounds until he decided that, oh, well, my gas tank is running a little bit low. But beyond that, the more outrageous thing is the fact that he's never faced off against a high-quality Mexican or a Mexican-American fighter. How the fuck does that even happen? How does that even happen? And even now, even people say, well, there's never been a high-quality Mexican-American or Mexican fighter as he was, going through the ranks and taking belts. Well, now there is, and there has been for the past year or more, and David Benadvidez. And your reply is, I don't know if he said I don't want to or I don't need to fight my fellow countrymen. But in the meantime, all these American dudes, they got to fight each other before they come and face me. They got to handle their business over there to be able to step to the throne. Wait, hold up. So Charlo and Andre, they got to fight each other. All these American talented fighters, they have to fight each other before they face off against you. But then you give Yildirim an opportunity. Make it make sense, please. Yildirim's above Charlo or Andre for that matter? He is? You're willing to give him a shot? See, people don't want to listen, man. They don't want to listen. But for argument's sake, so people don't think that I'm just up here talking shit, we'll pull up Canelo's resume right now so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. And somebody, please point out a Mexican American or a Mexican fighter of quality. In 2012, he fought Josecito Lopez. He KO'd him, and that was for a light middleweight title, which is 154. And Josecito Lopez is a blown-up light middleweight. Let's keep it real. And people say, oh, here comes Divide. See, he gets mad when Canelo doesn't fight Mexican-American fighters, but then when he finds one on the resume, then he picks it apart and makes excuses. I mean, am I wrong, though? Is Josecito Lopez a true 154-pounder? Was he a distinguished champion at 154? Please, correct me if I'm wrong. All right? And then he finds Austin Trout, which was a close fight. A very close fight. He lost to Floyd. He fought Alfredo Angulo, which he is a Mexican-American. This was back in 2014. By the way, people, we are in 2022 now. We're talking 8 years later, FYI. But we're going to do it. Alfredo Angulo Lopez, right? Where would you guys rank him as a fighter? Where would you guys rank him as a fighter? A top 5? He's a top 5 fighter? I'm just asking. And by the way, Josecito Lopez at one point in time was a light welterweight. Okay? And he fought Canelo at 154 and got stopped. Anyways, moving on. So you got Alfredo Angulo. Alfredo Angulo is like an Antonio Margarito, basically. Then he gets a split decision over Erislandy Lara. He fights James Kirkland, Miguel Cotto, Amir Khan, Liam Smith. Then he fights Chavez Jr. Like, do I seriously need to do any explanation on Chavez Jr.? A man who couldn't even step one toe into his dad's shadow. Not even one toe. The only thing he had was toughness. Okay? So again, that was in 2017. And from that point on, he never fought his own countrymen ever again. Golovkin, Rocky Fielding, Danny Jacobs, Kovalev, Caleb Smith, Yildirim, Billy Joe, Plant, Bivol, now Golovkin again. So the three Mexican-American fighters that I mentioned, Josecito Lopez got blown up in weight and got stopped. And Josecito Lopez is at welterweight, he was like a B fight, like a B- fighter. Okay? He sure as fuck wasn't a super welterweight. That's number one. Number two, he fought Angulo. Angulo is a C-level fighter. Tell me I'm wrong and convince me that I'm wrong. Then he fights Chavez Jr. In my opinion, C-level fighter. And after that point, never fought a Mexican or a Mexican-American fighter ever again since, what was it? 2017. 5 years. 5 years. He hasn't fought a fellow Mexican-American or a Mexican fighter in 5 years. And the last guy that you got to refer to is Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a guy who makes a mockery out of the sport, who can't make weight, who shows up in the fights out of shape, looking like shit. Looks like he literally came into the fight. Like he comes into the ring after just coming from a titty bar in Tijuana. That's Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. His dad sitting ringside just shaking his whole head the whole time. Like, damn. Like some real shit. You better go get a DNA test, bro, before you die, just so you can die with some peace. Because I don't know if that's really your son. I hate to say it. Now I am being facetious. Fuck it. But the reason why I am is because Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. at one point in time he had the world in his hands, bro. Chavez Jr. did. He had, because of his dad, the world of boxing was just put on a silver platter for him. And he embarrassed himself and he embarrassed his family name. And then didn't Anderson Silva knock him out or beat his ass or some shit like that? Anyways, man, y'all get my point. Y'all get my point. It's all right here at the screen. Canelo Alvarez hasn't fought a Mexican or a Mexican-American fighter in 5 years. The last guy he fought was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who made a mockery out of the sport and a mockery out of his family's name, who was never anything above a C-plus level fighter. And 100% facts, David Benadvidez would beat the brakes off of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. David Benadvidez would beat the brakes off of Angulo. And David Benadvidez would beat the brakes off of Josecito Lopez. Facts. And Canelo's excuse not to fight Benadvidez is I don't need to fight my countrymen. Don't get it twisted, people. Don't get it twisted, people. Canelo's way smarter than what a lot of people give him credit for. He knows that Benadvidez is a real threat. Not only is he a real threat as a 168 pounder, a true super middleweight, but the man could fight at 175. Like, Benadvidez is a big, strong, relentless fighter. The dude is a problem. He walked through David Lemieux like David Lemieux was a fucking lightweight. And David Lemieux has been fighting at middleweight and super middleweight for the longest time. We've seen the type of knockouts that David Lemieux would get. Like, David Lemieux, it wasn't like he just suddenly got a title shot. He fought Triple G. He fought high caliber fighters, David Lemieux did. David Lemieux has a resume. And David Benadvidez walked through David Lemieux like a knife cutting through butter. And I've always been a fan of David Lemieux. Personally, when he was coming up there for a while, when he was like, 25-0 with 25 KOs, in the beginning stage, I was like, damn, this guy is an exciting fighter. And I like David Lemieux and his style. Remind me a little bit of a Mike Tyson. But it is what it is. David Lemieux smashed this dude. So the fact of the matter is, Canelo knows that David is a true and legitimate threat. And he knows that Benadvidez ain't no Josecito Lopez. He knows that David Benadvidez is not an Angulo. And he knows that he's not a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was literally a walking punching bag. He was literally a walking punching bag. And he knows that David Benadvidez is going to punch back, and he's going to give Canelo. Look, man, Canelo has taken wear and tear. I mean, he's already starting to complain about certain injuries and look how often I fought and I'm getting tired. I need to rest. You really think he wants to fuck around with a young and hungry David Benadvidez? Call it what you want to call it. That is a duck. That's what it is. That's what it is. A duck. Y'all can call it a reason. You can call it an excuse. You can frame it however you want to frame it. That is a duck. He is ducking David Benadvidez, period. Now, Charlo, I mean, for me, I'll talk about Charlo because I did put him in the thumbnail and the graphics for this video. Charlo was a threat too. Charlo is not necessarily a true super middleweight. The idea is for Canelo. If we're gonna pressure Canelo, we're gonna pressure him because he is undisputed as a super middleweight. He holds all the belts. He needs to defend those belts to be a legitimate champion. We've talked about this before. When you win a belt, you become a titleist. When you defend those belts, in my opinion, that's where you gain that true champion status. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Hit the fire emoji in the chat. Okay, so that means that Charlo would have to move up in weight and fight at 168, just like Triple G had to move up in weight. But obviously, Charlo is younger than Triple G. He's going to have the speed. He's going to have, the technical ability to make the fight more interesting than this last fight we just watched, because that shit was not interesting, really. Triple G had a few moments here and there, but Canelo was in control of the fight pretty much the whole time. And Rojai, I see you in the chat saying Andrade. Yeah, Andrade was, in my opinion, a threat as well. But like I said, Canelo expressed very early that he has no interest in Andrade. We saw the disrespect when Andrade politely and professionally, like any fighter who wants a title shot should do, and asked him for a chance, and Canelo took a shit on him. That's what he took a shit on him. He said, "Get the fuck out of here, bitch. All you want is a payday. Get the fuck out of here." That's what Canelo did to Andre. So I don't think that sentiment has faded. So I don't know. I don't know, people. I don't know what's going to happen. We do know. What's up, Mr. Fist? We do know JRFRM 919. I see you, bro, in the building, man. I don't know if you're still here, but I appreciate you. King of the Dead, I see you. So I don't know what's going to happen, but let's be reminded that we are seeing a fight coming up October 15th on the undercard of Wilder Helenius, which is Plant and Durrell. I don't see it as a far-fetched idea that if Plant beats Durrell and he does well at doing it and looks good, and it's kind of like a comeback fight for him. Anytime you take an L, especially if you get stopped, it's essentially a comeback fight, in my opinion. Comeback fight doesn't always mean, oh, you're coming out of retirement. No, you get knocked out, you coming back. That's what it is. So if he looks good in his comeback fight, I won't be shocked if Canelo or if Plant, first thing he says is, I want a rematch against Canelo. Now, Canelo might say, man, I don't got time for that, whatever. Okay, but you can see what I'm trying to get at is you're undisputed at 168. Like, what the fuck are you going to do with all those belts, bro? That's my question. What are you going to do with all those belts? And I don't have an answer for you guys. I don't have an answer for you guys. Because it seems to me he doesn't want to fight Andre. He doesn't want to fight Charlo. He doesn't want to fight Benadvidez. And I doubt that he's going to want to fight Plant again, even if Plant does look good against Durrell. So who else is there at 168 that makes sense business-wise and legacy-wise? I just don't see it. Somebody give me a name. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. And Mr. Fish, if Canelo vacates, which you're right, is a very high possibility, because he doesn't want to bear the responsibility of holding all these belts and obviously not defending those belts. So vacating is a high possibility. But if he vacates, he deserves to be criticized for not really. He was an undisputed titleist, not really an undisputed champion, in my opinion. Now, the history books will be written that he was an undisputed champion when he beat Caleb Plant for the IBF. But to me, you vacate the titles, and the only two people that you have, who do you have on your resume at 168? You got Billy Joe, Yildirim, Caleb Smith, and that's it. That's it. All you got at 168 is Caleb Smith, Yildirim, Billy Joe, and Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant had the IBF. Billy Joe had the WBO. Billy Joe, by the way, straight up quit in that fight. Like, straight up quit. I don't give a fuck what nobody tells me. He straight up quit. Yildirim, that was a random ass, pitiful, wipe my ass fight. And then he fought Caleb Smith when he won the WBA and the ring and a vacant WBC super middleweight title. So at super middleweight, Caleb Smith, Yildirim, Billy Joe, and Plant. If he vacates the titles, is he a true champion, a true undisputed champion? That's all up for y'all to debate. Y'all can debate that. But that's his resume at 168. I just told you right there. I'll do it again for people that just came in. At 168, or excuse me, he fought Rocky Fielding. I apologize. Rocky Fielding. Oh yeah, that's that's a high caliber fighter. Excuse me. I apologize. Rocky Fielding. And that was for a WBA regular super middleweight title. Then he went back down. He fought Danny Jacobs for a middleweight title. When he fought Danny Jacobs, that was for 160. Then he jumped up and fought Kovalev at light heavy. Then he started to campaign for the real belts, which started at Calum Smith. And that's when he won the WBA Super, Ring, and a vacant WBC. Then Yildirim, which was a throwaway fight. Billy Joe, who quit on the stool. And Caleb Plant for the IBF. So there you have it. It's all up to y'all's discretion and opinion on if the question is if Triple G vacates the titles at 168 because he no longer has interest to defend those titles against the likes of Andre, Charlo, the rematching Caleb Plant, or any other legitimate 168 pounder. Not saying that Charlo necessarily is 168, but Charlo, we all know, would probably be willing to move up if given the opportunity. And so would Andre. But if he's not willing to defend those belts and vacates, what is your assessment of his reign at super middleweight? What is your assessment? And I'll continue to wait for an explanation. By the way, the link to the chat or the link to the live is pinned up at the top of the chat. But I'm not going to hold on to this live too much longer. I got shit to do. To me, if you want my opinion, who was the biggest threat to Canelo? Like to actually walk him down, beat him up, and really embarrass Canelo and make it like, okay, Canelo's starting to come to the end of the road. To me, it's David Benadvidez. And for when people say, oh, come on, Devon, man, Benadvidez, he ain't got no experience, bro. He ain't got no experience. Y'all didn't say that shit when Canelo went to go fight Floyd Mayweather. Because before Floyd Mayweather, y'all motherfuckers were saying, oh, I think Canelo's too young, too strong to fight Mayweather. Mayweather about to get knocked out. Y'all think I forgot. I never forgot that shit. But as soon as Canelo got outboxed for 12 fucking rounds, then y'all came out and switched the narrative. Y'all flipped that shit. Oh, man, he just wasn't ready. He's green. He's still young. And, Floyd, he's a runner and all this other bullshit. Y'all keep holding on to these fucking excuses for your man. Y'all think I forgot. I never forget, man. I never forget. My memory is long-lasting. Long-lasting. Duracell, bitch. I never forget. And I'm still waiting. I cruise around YouTube and I peek through the blinds here and there. And y'all making videos. I peek through the videos when you talk about Canelo. Y'all motherfucker, a lot of you guys don't even have any answers. Like y'all don't have any answers on where he goes from here. All you guys want to talk about on how great he looked. Oh, he looked so good against Triple G in the third fight. Oh my God, he looks so good. He looks so good against him. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Canelo. Did you see that left hook? Yeah, Canelo, Alvarez, Viva Mexico, cabrón. Yeah. Oh, I can't do it anymore, bro. I can't do it anymore, bro. I can't do Spence and Bud anymore, and I can't do Canelo anymore. I'll wait. I will wait to see what this man does, man. But he knows that the walls are closing in. He's got a decision to make. I mean, it's not like he's in a position to like retire anytime soon. I mean, I guess he could, but He's got like a good 4 or 5 fights left in him. He's got a good 4 or 5 fights left in him. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I don't know what he's going to do, but I can't do it anymore. I can't talk about it anymore. I can't listen to it anymore. Like, there's some channels out here that I've always had respect for the most part. I may not agree, but I'm like, this dude, he loves boxing. You know what I mean? I listen to his shit here and there. I appreciate it, But when y'all talk about Canelo, I can't take it. It's literally like nails on a chalkboard. And you know what? I'm sure the feeling is mutual. I'm sure when I talk about Wilder, y'all hate it. Oh man, Divine, he out here talking about Wilder again. Yeah, the guy who has excuses, the guy who accused Fury for all this shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Divine does this. I don't know why he does it. I mean, he's so intelligent about boxing, and I don't know why he defends Wilder. Well, the feeling is mutual. The feeling is mutual. When y'all talk about Canelo riding his dick, talking about, Canelo Alvarez, muy bien, viva Mexico, a todo, I love it. He's so good, like his jab and everything, like he's just so strong. And I just, man, Canelo, man, he's like the best Mexican fighter, like ever, it doesn't matter who he fights, I'm going to love him. I'm going to love him. Oh, fuck out of here. The feeling is mutual. The feeling is mutual. Okay, I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. And y'all think I'm exaggerating. Y'all think I'm exaggerating about the way people talk about Canelo. Y'all think I'm exaggerating. Take a stroll. Take a stroll around YouTube. Just take a stroll around the park. Y'all see it. Y'all will see it. Y'all will find it. It would be so easy for me to drop names, but I ain't going to do that, man. I ain't going to do that. YouTube is there. Right there, right at the tip of your fingers, man. Y'all can go. I'm telling you, man. I am not making this shit up. This is how dudes talk about Canelo. As a matter of fact, when Canelo beat Plant, right? That's one of the 2 predictions I got wrong since my comeback last year. Like, I said I'm like 14-2. I predicted. No, I take that back. I said that Canelo was gonna beat Plant. But I was rooting for Plant. So I take that back. I think it was Fury and Wilder 3. And there was another fight in there that I got wrong. But anyway, I don't want to lose track. So after Canelo beat Plant, right? I went around. I had a free day. So I'm cruising around YouTube, and I come across this channel. I didn't know who it was, but I saw he had an open panel, and there's like 7 or 8 dudes in there talking about the fight. And so I'm listening for a bit, and they pinned the link to go into the panel and the chat, and they're in there talking, right? And they're talking about how great Canelo is, this, that, and whatever. So I thought, let me, I like to play devil's advocate sometimes. I like to be the oddball. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to talk a little bit about Plant. Fuck it. Because to me, I thought that Plant looked pretty damn good early in the fight. I thought he was frustrating Canelo. So I went in there, right? And I said what I said about Plant. I swear to you guys, man, everybody on that panel started tripping. They thought I was coming in there like trying to sell them some crack or some shit. They were like, oh, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. Canelo, bro. Canelo was whooping Plant's ass from the first round, bro. Hell yeah. The scorecards were right, because I brought that up about the scorecards. I said, how the fuck can the judge literally give Caleb Plant 1 round? The scorecards came out after the stoppage. A judge gave Plant 1 fucking round. How is that even possible? Yeah, well, that's what it was. It was a domination. Canelo was dominating him, bro. Like, who the fuck are you to come in here and talk about Plant boxing this and that? Plant was doing shit, bro. Yeah. Canelo, I'm telling you, he's the greatest thing that we've ever seen. Do you see how his biceps glisten under the spotlight when he throws that left hook? I mean, his pecs and his biceps are glistening, bro. Like, name me another fighter who has that same luster and glistening in the fucking spotlight in the arena. Tell me another fighter, bro. Please. Canelo, I mean, he's the man. El hombre, cabrón. ¿Tú entiendes? Because I understand it all, man. I see it for what it is. Like, Canelo's the greatest that we've ever seen. Plant ain't shit. And I'm sitting here on the panel like, yo, what the fuck did I just walk into? This is like a Canelo circle jerk. What the fuck? You got 8 men up here on the panel literally riding Canelo's dick. And I said, yo, whoa. Y'all, time out for a second. I thought we were talking about boxing. And y'all talking about glistening biceps and pecs and shit and deltoids? And how great this man is? I mean, what's going on here? Like I said, I can't make this shit up. And that's when I told myself I can't be going into these random panels because there's a lot of lunatics out here. There's a lot of lunatics. And I don't give a fuck what nobody says. I am a ardent supporter of Deontay Wilder, openly have expressed that multiple times. And I'm going to continue to support the man because I believe in him. But I was one of the Wilder fans who came out here and critiqued. I don't say criticized, but I critiqued Wilder's performance in the third fight and pointed out things that he should have done better. Because that's what a true fan does. It's out of love. Because we want to see the best out of the man. We want to see the man succeed. But y'all, man, the Triple G fight, the trilogy, all that shit is golden. Every single bit of it is golden. Everything that he does, everything he touches is gold. Like I said, y'all think I'm joking. Take a stroll. And y'all can hear it for yourself. There's plenty of them out there. But anyway, I have no idea what Canelo's going to do. The walls are closing in. He's made it abundantly clear that he doesn't want to fight any of his countrymen. He's made it abundantly clear he doesn't want to fight the likes of Andre and Charlo for the most part. And so I don't know. I doubt he's going to want to fight Plant in a rematch if Plant looks good against Darrell. So I have no idea. Anyways, I wanted to come out here and give you guys my thoughts, man. A little bit kind of a recap of the Triple G and Canelo third fight. Wasn't excited. Never talked about the fight leading up to the fight because, quite frankly, I didn't give a shit about it. And then the fight went the way exactly how I thought it was going to go. With Canelo winning by decision. And that's exactly what happened. So if y'all come in a little bit late, I played in the beginning of this live stream my prediction video leading up to Triple G Canelo 3, where I wanted to show you guys how accurate my prediction was. And just as a reminder, when I drop predictions, you got to tune your ear and listen carefully, especially for those who bet on fights. If you want to get a solid opinion, y'all got to tune into Divine Says Boxing, man. And on that note, on predictions, I got to drop my prediction on Wilder Helenius. I dropped my prediction on Plant and Darrell. I heard some shit about Stevenson not making weight, and I don't know if the fight with him and Constanzao has been called off or what. I'm going to have to double check the news on that. But we have some other fights on the horizon that hopefully I'll be able to get the prediction videos out. But anyways, I wanted to come in here and just drop some thoughts. And everybody who came in and showed some love, I appreciate you guys immensely. And I will be back here with another one hopefully soon, man. Hopefully soon. I literally get on here whenever I can, guys. I literally get on here whenever I can. I know that a lot of you guys would like to see me more often, but your man's busy out here. So it is what it is, man. Priorities first. Priorities first. But look, man, those who continue to support, just know that my love and appreciation holds no bounds. I appreciate you guys immensely for continuing to support. And I'll be on here as much as I possibly can to continue to drop that content, man, and give you guys a different perspective, a different outlook. And, when I criticize and I critique, I do it across the board, man. I literally do it across the board. And there ain't nobody out there who can say any different. There's nobody out there that can say, oh, Divine Sense, man, he only critiques certain people. I critique everybody. I give praise and accolades when they're deserved. And I critique and I criticize when it is deserved. Simple as that. And I had the link pinned up at the top of the chat, the whole goddamn live. Nobody wanted to come in. So it is what it is. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody. I'm going to get some food up in me. I have a long day ahead of me. And I'll be back up here as soon as I can. If you guys are not following me on IG, make sure you do that. Hit me up on Divine Sense Boxing on the gram. Because sometimes I do make posts on there to keep you guys alerted on what I got going on. So make sure y'all follow me on the gram. And in the meantime, I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all stay up, stay strong, stay positive. It's your boy Divine. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.